Yay.
Okay. Oh, changed my thing back.
Guys,
Hi.
oh my God, guys.
You got
I am
drunk
so
early
sorry.
today,
I
Nicole.
am so sorry. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, it's
Okay, so I
Okay.
was feeling less than great earlier, and I set an alarm for my nap. The alarm never came to fruition.
no.
I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We're glad.
I that please some, try all, both joy and terror of good and bad, that makes the unfolded error. Now take upon me, in the name of time, to use my wings. Impute it not a crime to me or my swift passage, that I slide o'er 16 years, and leave the growth untried of that wide gap, since it is in my power to o'erthrow law, and in one self-born hour to plant and o'erwhelm custom. Let me pass the same I am, ere ancientest order was, or what is now received. I witness to the times that brought them in. So shall I do to the freshest things now reigning, and make stale the glistering of this present, as my tale now seems to it. Your patience this allowing, I turn my glass, and give my scene such growing as you had slept between. Leontes leaving, the effects of his fond jealousies so grieving that he shuts up himself. Imagine me, gentle spectators, that I may now be in fair Bohemia. And remember well I have mentioned a son of the king's, which Florizell I now name to you. And with speed so paced to speak of Perdita, now grown in grace, equal with wondering. What of her ensues, I list not prophecy, but let time's news be known when 'tis brought forth. A shepherd's daughter, and what to her adheres which follows after, is the argument of time. Of this allow, if ever you have spent time worse ere now. If never, yet that time himself doth say, he wishes earnestly you never may.
Roderick and John, I think.
I pray thee, good Camillo, be no more importunate. 'Tis a sickness denying thee anything, a death to grant this.
It is 15 years since I saw my country. Though I have for the most part been aired abroad, I desire to lay my bones there. Besides, the penitent king, my master, hath sent for me, to whose feeling sorrows I might be some ally. Or ween to think so, which is another spur to my departure.
As thou lovest me, Camillo, wipe not the rest of thy services by leaving me now. The need I have of thee, thine own goodness hath made. Better not to have had thee than thus to want thee. Thou having made me businesses which none without thee can sufficiently manage, must either stay to execute them thyself, or take away with thee the very services thou hast done, which, if I have not enough considered, as too much I cannot, to be more thankful to thee shall be my study. And my profit therein the heaping friendships of that fatal country, Sicilia. Prithee, speak no more, whose very naming punishes me with the remembrance of that penitent, as thou callest him, and reconciled king, my brother, whose loss of his most precious queen and children are even now to be fresh lamented. Say to me, when sawest thou the Prince Florizell, my son? Kings are no less unhappy, their issue not being gracious, than they are in losing them when they have approved their virtues.
Sir, it is 3 days since I saw the prince. What his happier affairs may be are to me unknown, but I have missingly noted he is of late much retired from court and is less frequently to princely exercises than formerly he hath appeared.
I have considered so much, Camillo, and with some care, so far as I have eyes under my service which look upon his removedness, from whom I have this intelligence, that he is seldom from the house of a most homely shepherd, a man, they say, that from very nothing and beyond the imagination of his neighbors is grown into an unspeakable estate.
I have heard, sir, of such a man who hath a daughter of most rare note. The report of her is extended more than can be thought to begin from such a cottage.
That's likewise part of my intelligence, but I fear the angle that plucks our son thither. Thou shalt accompany us to this place, where we will, not appearing what we are, have some question with the shepherd, from whose simplicity I think it not uneasy to get the cause of my son's retort thither. Prithee be my present partner in this business, and lay aside the thoughts of Sicilia.
I willingly obey your command.
My best Camillo, we must disguise ourselves.
When daffodils begin to peer with high the dotsy o'er the dale, why then comes in the sweet o'er the year, where the red blood reigns in the winter's pale. The white sheet bleaching on the hedge, with high the sweet birds, oh how they sing, doth set my pugging tooth and edge, for a quart of ale is a dish for a king. The lark that Tiralera chants, with high, the thrush and the jay, are summer songs for me and my aunts, while we lie tumbling in the hay. I have served Prince Florizell, and in my time wore 3 pile, but now I am out of service. But shall I go mourn for that, my dear? The pale moon shines by night, and when I wander here and there, I then do most go right. If tinkers may have leave to live, and bear the sow-skin budget, then my account I well may give, and in the stocks avouch it. My traffic is sheets. When the kite builds, look to lesser linen. My father named me Autolycus, who, being as I am littered under Mercury, was likewise a snapper up of unconsidered trifles. With dye and drab I purchased this comparison, and my revenue is a silly cheat. Gallows and knock are too powerful on the highway. Eating and hanging are terrors to me. For the life to come, I sleep out the thought of it. A prize, a prize.
Let me see. Every 11 weather tods, every tod yields pound and odd shilling, 1,500 shorn. What comes the wool to?
The spring holds the cock's mine.
I cannot do it without counters. Let me see. What am I to buy for our sheep shearing feast? 3 pound of sugar, 5 pound of currants, rice. What will this sister of mine do with rice? But my father hath made her mistress of the feast, and she lays on it. She hath made me 24 nosegays for the shearers, 3-man song men all, and very good ones. But they are most of them means and basses, but one Puritan amongst them, and he sings psalms to hornpipes. I must have saffron to color the wardrobe pies. Mace, dates, none. That's out of my note. Nutmegs, 7. A race or 2 of ginger, but that I may beg. 4 pounds of prunes, and as many of raisins of the sun.
Oh, that I ever was born!
In the name of me!
Oh, help me! Pluck but off these rags, and then death, death.
Alack, poor soul! Thou hast need of more rags to lay on thee rather than have these off.
Oh, sir, the loathsomeness of them offends me more than the stripes I have received, which are mighty ones and millions.
Alas, poor man, 1,000,000 of beating may come to a greater matter.
I am robbed, sir, and beaten, my money and apparel taken from me, and these detestable things put upon me.
What, by a horseman or a footman?
A footman, sweet sir, a footman.
Indeed, he should be a footman by the garments he has left with thee. If this be a horseman's coat, it hath seen very hot service. Lend me thy hand, I'll help thee. Come, lend me thy hand.
Oh, good sir, tenderly. Oh,
Alas, poor soul.
oh, good sir, softly, good sir. I fear, sir, my shoulder blade is out.
How now, can't stand?
Softly, dear sir, good sir, softly. You had done me a charitable office.
Dost lack any money? I have a little money for thee.
No, good sweet sir, no, I beseech you, sir. I have a kinsman not past 3/4 of a mile hence, unto whom I was going. I shall there have money or anything I want. Offer me no money, I pray you. It kills my heart.
What manner of fellow was he that robbed you?
A fellow, sir, that I have known to go about with all my dames. I knew him once a servant of the prince. I cannot tell, good sir, for which of his virtues it was, but he was certainly whipped out of the court.
His vices, you would say. There's no virtue whipped out of the court. They cherish it to make it stay there, and yet it will no more but abide.
Vices, I would say, sir. I know this man well. He hath been since an 8-bearer, then a process server, a bailiff. Then he compassed a motion of the prodigal son and married a tinker's wife within a mile where my land was living lies, and having flown over many knavish professions, he settled only in rogue. Some call him Autolycus.
Out upon him! Prig, for my life, prig! He haunts wakes, fairs, and bear baitings.
Very true, sir. The rogue that has put me into this apparel.
Not a more cowardly rogue in all Bohemia. If you had but looked big and spit at him, he'd have run.
I must confess to you, sir, I am no fighter. I am false of heart that way, and that he knew, I warned him.
How do you now?
Sweet sir, much better than I was. I can stand and walk. I will even take my leave of you and pace softly towards my kinsman.
Shall I bring thee on the way?
No, good face, sir. No, sweet sir.
Oh, then fare thee well. I must go buy spices for our sheep shearing.
Prosper you, sweet sir. Your purse is not hot enough to purchase your spice. I'll be with you at your sheep shearing too. If I make not this cheat, bring out another, and the shearers prove sheep, let me be unrolled and my name put in the book of virtue. Jog on the footpath way, and merrily, and the style, my merry heart goes all the day, your sad tires in the mile.
These your unusual weeds to each part of you does give a life, no shepherdess, but florid appearing in April's front. This your sheep shearing is as a meeting of the petty gods, and you the queen on it.
Sir, my gracious lord, to chide at your extremes is not becomes me. Oh, pardon that I name them. Your high self, the gracious mark of the land, you have obscured with the swain's wearing, and me, poor lowly maid, most goddess-like, pranked up, but that our feasts in every mess have folly, and the feeders digested with the custom. I should blush to see you so attired. I think, to show myself a glass.
I bless the time when my good falcon made her flight across thy father's land.
Now Jove affords you cause. To me the difference is forges dread. Your greatness hath not been used to fear. Even now I tremble to think your father by some accident should pass this way as you did. Oh, the fates. How would he look to see his work so noble vilely bound up? What should he say? Or how should I, in these borrowed flaunts, behold the sternness of his presence?
Oh, apprehend nothing but jollity. The gods themselves, humbling their deities to love, have taken the shapes of beasts upon them. Jupiter became a bull and bellowed, the green Neptune a ram and bleated, the fire-robed god, golden Apollo, a more humble swain, as I see now. Their transformations were never for a piece of beauty rarer, nor in a way so chaste, since my desires run not before mine honor, nor my lusts burn hotter than my faith.
Oh, but sir, your resolution cannot hold when 'tis opposed, as it must be, by the power of the king. One of these two must be necessities, which then will speak that you must change this purpose, or I my life.
Thou dearest Perdita, with these forced thoughts I prithee darken not the mirth of the feast, or I'll be thine, my fair, or not my father's. For I cannot be mine own, nor anything to any if I be not thine. To this I am most constant, though destiny says no. Be merry, gentle. Strangle such thoughts as these with anything that you behold the while. Your guests are coming. Lift up your countenance as if it were the day of celebration of that nuptial which we two have sworn shall come.
Lady Fortune, you stand auspicious.
See, your guests approach. Address yourself to entertain them sprightly, and let's be red with mirth.
My daughter, when my old wife lived, upon this day she was both pantler, butler, cook, both dame and servant, welcomed all, served all, with singer-song and dance her turn, now here at the upper end of the table, now in the middle, on his shoulder and his, her face afire with labor, and the thing she took to quench it, she would to each one sip. You were retired, as you were a feasted one and not the hostess of the meeting. Pray you bid these unknown friends 'tis welcome, for it is a way to make us better friends, more known. Come, quench your blushes and present yourself that which you are, mistress of the feast. Come on and bid us welcome to your sheep shearing, as your good luck shall prosper.
Sir, welcome. It is my father's will I should take on me the hostessship of the day. You are most welcome, sir. Give me those flowers there, Dorcas. Reverend sirs, for you there's rosemary and rue. These keep seeming and savor all the winter long. Grace and remembrance be to you both, and welcome to our shearing.
Shepherdess, fair when you are, well you fit our ages with flowers of winter.
Sir, the year growing ancient, not yet on summer's death, nor on the birth of trembling winter. The fairest flowers of the season are our carnations and streaked gillivores, which some call nature's bastards, of that kind of rustic gardens therein, and I care not to get slips of them.
Wherefore, gentle maiden, do you neglect them?
For I have heard it said, there's an art which in their piedness shares with great living nature, creating nature.
Say there be, yet nature is made better by no mean, but nature makes that mean. So over that art, which you say adds to nature, is an art that nature makes. You see, sweet maid, we marry a gentler scion to the wildest stock, and make conceive a bark of baser kind by bud of nobler race. This is an art which doth mend nature, change it rather, but the art itself is nature.
So it is.
Then make your garden rich in gillivores, and do not call them bastards.
I'll not put the dibble in the earth to set one slip of them. No more than, were I painted, I should wish this youth should say, 'twere well, and only therefore desire to read by me. Here's flowers for you. Hot lavender, mint, savory marjoram, and the marigold that goes to bed with the sun, and with him rises weeping. These are flowers of middle summer, and I think they are given to men of middle age.
Oh.
You are very welcome.
Oh.
You should leave grazing where I have your flock and only live by gazing.
Alas, you'd be so lean that blast of January would blow you through and through. Now, my fairest friend, I would I had some flowers of the spring that might become your time of day. And yours, that wear upon your virgin branches yet your maidenhead's growing. Oh, Prosperina, for the flowers now that frightened, thou let'st fall from Dis's wagon, daffodils that come before the swallow dares, and take them, the winds of March, with beauty, violets dim, but sweeter than the lids of Juno's eyes, or Cytherea's breath, pale primroses that die unmarried ere they can behold bright Phoebus in his strength, a malady and most incident to maids, bold oxlips and crown imperial, lilies of all kinds, the flower de luce being one. Oh, these I lack to make garlands of, and my sweet friend to strew him o'er and o'er. Florizell. Oh, you're muted, Florizell. Please unmute yourself, Florizell. Oh no. Please, Florizell, I'm so glad you're not muted.
That you should not have the ability to hear my voice. Let me speak again, but you say to strew me with flowers, and I say what? Like a corpse?
No, like a bank for love to lie and play on, not like a corse, ew. Or if not to be buried, but quick and in mine arms. Come, take your flowers, methinks I play, as I have seen them do in wit-spun pastorals. Sure, this robe of mine does change my disposition.
What you do still better, what betters what is done. When you speak sweet, I'll have you do it ever. When you sing, I'll have you buy and sell so. So give alms, praise so for the ordaining of your affairs to sing them too. When you do dance, I wish you a wave of the sea that you might ever do nothing but that. Move still so, and oh, no other function. Each your doing, so singular in each particular, crowns what you are doing in the present deeds, that all your acts are queens.
Oh, Dorcles, your praises are too large, but that your youth and true blood with peeps fairly through it, do plainly give you out, an unstained shepherd, with wisdom I fear, my Dorcles. You wooed me the false way.
I think you have as little to fear as I have purpose to put you to it. But come, our dance, I pray. Your hand, my Perdita, so turtles pair that never mean to part.
I'll swear for them.
This is the prettiest low-born lass that ever ran on the greensward. Nothing she does or seems but smacks of something greater than herself. Too noble for this place.
He tells her something that makes her blood look out. Good sooth, she is the queen of curds and cream.
Come on, strike up!
Mopsa must be your mistress? Marry garlic to mend her kissing with.
Oh, now in good time.
Not a word, a word. We stand upon our manners. Come, strike up.
Pray, good shepherd, what fair swain is this which dances with your daughter?
Oh, they call him Doricles, and boasts himself to have a worthy feeding. But I have it upon his own report, and I believe it. He looks like sooth. He says he loves my daughter. I think so too, but for never gaze the moon upon the water, as he'll stand and read as 'twere my daughter's eyes. And to be plain, I think there's not half a kiss to choose who loves the other best.
She dances featly.
So she does anything. Well, I report it that should be silent. If young Doricles do light upon her, she shall bring him that which he not dreams of.
Ooh.
Oh, master, did you but hear a peddler at the door, you would never dance again after a tabor and pipe. No, the bagpipe could not move you. He sings several tunes faster than you'll tell money. He utters them as he had eaten ballads, and all men's ears grew to his tunes.
He could never come better. He shall come in. I love a ballad, but even too well if it be doleful matter merrily set down, or a very pleasant thing indeed and sung lamentably.
He has songs for man or woman of all sizes. No milliner can so fit his customers with gloves. He has the prettiest love songs for maids, so without bawdry, which is strange, which such delicate burdens of dildos and fadings, jump her and thump her, and wear some mouth rascals, what is it were, mean mischief, and break a foul gap into the matter. He makes the maid to answer, "What? Oh, do me no harm, good man," puts him off, slights him with, "Whoop, do me no harm, good man."
This is a brave fellow.
Believe me, thou talkest of an admirable, conceited fellow. Has he any unbraided wares?
Oh.
He hath ribbons of all the colors in the rainbow, points more than all the lawyers in Bohemia can hardly handle, though they come to him by the gross, inkles, caddises, cambresses, lawns. Oh, why, he sings them over as they were gods and goddesses. You would think a smock were she-angel. He so chanced the sleeve hand and the work about the square on.
Prithee, bring him in, and let him approach singing.
Forewarn him that he use no scurrilous words in the tunes.
You have of these peddlers that have more in them than you'd think, sister.
Mm-hmm. Aye, good brother, and go about to think. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Lawn as white as driven snow, cypress black as air was crow, gloves as sweet as damask roses, mask for faces and for noses, bugle bracelet, necklace, amber, perfume for a lady's chamber, golden coifs and stomachers for my lads to give their dears, pins and poking sticks of steel, what maids lack from head to heel. Come buy of me, come buy, lads, or else your lasses cry. Come buy.
If I were not in love with Mopsa, thou shouldst take no money of me, but being enthralled as I am, it will also be the bondage of certain ribbons and gloves.
I was promised them against the feast, but they come not too late now.
He hath promised you more than that, or there be liars.
He hath paid you all he promised you. Maybe he has paid you more, which will shame you to give him again.
Is there no manners left among maids? Will they wear their plackets where they should bear their faces? Is there not milking time when you're going to bed, or kiln hole to whistle of these secrets, but you must be tittle-tattling before all our guests? 'Tis well they are whispering, clamor your tongues, and not a word more.
I have done. Come, you promised me a tawdry lace and a pair of sweet gloves.
Have I not told thee how I was cozened by the way and lost all my money?
And indeed, sir, there are cozeners abroad. Therefore it behooves men to be wary.
Oh, fear not thou, man. Thou shalt lose nothing here.
I hope so, sir, for I have about me many parcels of trade.
What hast here? Ballads?
Oh, pray now, buy some. I love a ballad in print. A life, for then we are sure they are true.
Here's one to a very doleful tune, how a usurer's wife was brought to bed of 20 money bags at a burden, and how she longed to eat adders' heads and toads carbonadoed.
Is it true, think you?
Very true, and but a month old.
Bless me from marrying a usurer.
There's the midwife's name to it. One mistress, tail porter, and 5 or 6 honest wives that were present. Why should I carry lies abroad?
Oh, pray you now, buy it.
Oh, come on, lay it by, and let's first see more ballads. We'll buy the other things anon.
Here's another ballad of a fish that appeared upon the coast on Wednesday, the 80 of April, 40,000 fathom above water, and sung this ballad against the hard hearts of maids. It was thought she was a woman, and was turned into a cold fish, for she would not exchange flesh with one that loved her. The ballad is very pitiful, and as true.
Is it true? True, think you?
5 justices hand at it, and witnesses more than my pack will hold.
Lay it by too. Another.
This is a merry ballad, but a very pretty one.
Oh, let's have some merry ones.
Why, this is a passing merry one, and goes to the tune of 2 maids wooing a man. There's scarce a maid westward, but she sings it. 'Tis in request, I can tell you.
Oh, we can both sing it. If there a part, thou shalt hear, 'tis in 3 parts.
We had the tune on it a month ago.
I can bear my part. You must know 'tis my occupation. Have at it with you. Get you hence, for I must go, where it fits not you know.
Whither?
Oh, whither?
Whither?
It becomes thy oath full well, thou to me thy secrets tell.
Me too, let me go thither.
Or thou goest to the Granger mill.
If to either thou dost ill.
Neither,
What? Neither?
neither.
Thou hast sworn my love to be.
Thou hast sworn it's more to me. Then whither goest, say whither.
We'll have this song out anon by ourselves. My father and the gentlemen are in sad talk, and we'll not trouble them. Come, bring away thy pack after me. Wenches, I'll buy for you both. Peddler, let's have the first choice. Follow me, girls.
And you shall pay well for 'em. Will you buy any tape or lace for your cape? My dainty duck, my dear, any silk, any thread, any toys for your head, of the newest and finest wear. Come to the peddler, money's a meddler, that doth utter all men's aware.
Master, there's 3 carters, 3 shepherds, 3 netherds, 3 swineherds that have made themselves all men of hair. They call themselves saltiers, and they have a dance which the wenches say is a gallimaufry of gambles, because they are not in it, but they themselves are of the mind. If it be not too rough for some that know little but bowling, it will please plentifully.
Oh, away, we'll none on't. Here's been too much homely foolery already. I know, sir, we weary you.
You weary those that refresh us. Pray, let's see these 4 threes of herdsmen.
1-3 of them, by their own reports, sir, have danced before the king, and not the worst of the 3, but jumps 12 foot and a half by the square.
Oh, leave your prating. Well, since these good men are pleased, let them come in, but quickly now.
Why, they stay at the door, ma'am.
Oh, Father, you shall know more of that hereafter. Is it not too far gone? 'Tis time to part them. He's simple, he tells much. How now, fair shepherd? Your heart is full of something that doth take your mind from feasting. Sooth, when I was young and handed love as you do, I was wont to load my she with knacks. I would have ransacked the peddler's silken treasury and have poured it to her acceptance. You have let him go and nothing marted with him. If your lass interpretation should abuse and call this your lack of love or bounty, you were straitened for a reply, at least if you make a care of happy holding her.
Oh, sir, I know she prizes not trifles such as these are. The gifts she looks from me are packed and locked up in my heart, which I have given already, but not delivered. Oh, hear me, breath of my life, before this ancient sir, who, it should seem, hath sometime loved. I take thy hand. This hand is soft as dove's down and as white as it of Ethiopian's tooth or the fanned snow that's bolted by the northern blast twice o'er.
What follows this? How prettily the young swain seems to wash the hand was fair before. I have put you out, but to your protestation, let me hear what you profess.
Do, and be witness to it.
And this my neighbor too?
And he, and more than he, and men, the earth, the heavens, and all, that were I crowned the most imperial monarch, therefore worthy were I the fairest that ever made I swerve. Had force and knowledge more than was ever man's, I would not prize them without her love. For her employ them all, commend them, and commend them to her service, or to their own perdition.
Fairly offered.
This shows a sound affection.
But my daughter, say you the like to him? Daughter?
Oh, come, Perdita, and speak of thy love for me.
Well, I cannot speak so well, as you could see. Nothing so well, no, nor mean better. By the pattern of mine own thoughts, I cut out the purity of his.
Oh, take cans, a bargain, and friends unknown, you shall bear witness to it. I give my daughter to him, and will make her portion equal his.
Oh, that must be in the virtue of your daughter. One being dead, I shall have more than you can dream of yet, even enough then for your wonder. But come on, contract us for these witnesses.
So come, your hand, and daughter, yours.
Soft, swain, a while, beseech you. Have you a father?
I have. But what of him?
Knows he of this?
He neither does nor shall.
Methinks a father is at the nuptial of his son a guest, the best that becomes the table. Pray you once more, is not your father grown incapable of reasonable affairs? Is he not stupid with age and altering rooms? Can he speak, hear, no man from man, dispute his own estate? Lies he not bedrid, and again does nothing but what he did being childish?
No, good sir, he has his health and ampler strength indeed than most have of his age.
By my white beard, you offer him, if this be so, a wrong, something unfilial. reason my son should choose himself a wife, but as good reason the father, all whose joy is nothing else but fair posterity, should hold some counsel in such a business.
I yield all this, but for some other reasons, my grave sir, which is 'tis not fit you know, I not acquaint my father of this business.
Oh, let him know it.
He shall not.
Prithee, let him.
No, he must not.
Oh, let him, my son. He shall not need to grieve at knowing of thy choice.
Come, come, he must not. Mark our contract.
Mark your divorce, young sir, whose son I dare not call. Thou art too base to be acknowledged, thou a scepter's heir that thus affects a sheephook. Thou old traitor, I am sorry that by hanging thee I can but shorten thy life 1 week, and thou, fresh piece of excellent witchcraft, whom of force must know the royal fool thou coppest with.
Oh, my heart.
I'll have thy beauty scratched with briars and made more homely than thy state. For thee, fond boy, if may I ever know thou dost but sigh, that thou no more shalt see this knack, as never I mean thou shalt, will bar thee from a succession, not hold thee of our blood, no, not our kin, far than Dukalon off. Mark thou my words. Follow us to court, thou churl, for this time. Though full of our displeasure, yet we free thee from the dead blow of it. And you, enchantment, worthy enough of a herdsman, yea, him too, that makes himself but for our honor therein unworthy thee, if ever henceforth thou these rural latches to his entrance open, or hoop his body more with thy embraces, I will devise a death as cruel for thee as thou art tender to it.
For once or twice I was about to speak and tell him plainly the selfsame sun that shines upon his court hides not his visage from our cottage, but looks on alike. Will it please you, sir, to be gone? I told you what would come of this, beseech you. Of your own state, take care. This dream of mine, being now awake, I'll queen it no inch farther, but milk my eyes and weep.
Why, how now, father? Speak ere thou diest.
I cannot speak nor think, nor dare to know that which I know. Oh, sir, you have undone a man of 83, that thought to fill his grave in quiet, yea, to die upon the bed my father died, to lie close by his honest bones, but now some hangman must put on my shroud and lay me where no priest shovels in dust. Oh, cursed wretch, that Eustace was the prince, and would adventure to mingle faith with him? Undone, undone. If I might die within this hour, I have lived to die where I desire.
Why look you so upon me? I am sorry, not afeared, delayed, but nothing altered. What I was, I am, more straining on for plucking back, not following my leash unwillingly.
Gracious, my lord, you know your father's temper. At this time he will allow no speech, which I do guess you do not purpose to him, and as hardly will he endure your side as yet, I fear. Then, till the fury of his highness settle, come not before him.
I not purpose it. I think, Camillo?
Even he, my lord.
My lady speaks.
How often have I told you 'twas be thus? How often said my dignity would last but till 'twere known?
It cannot fail but by the violation of my faith. And then let nature crush the sides of the earth together and mar the seeds within. Lift up thy looks. From my succession wipe me, Father. I am heir to my affection.
Be advised.
I am, and by my fancy. My reason will thereto be obedient. I have reason, if not my senses, my better pleased with madness. Do bid it welcome.
This is desperate, sir.
Don't call it, but it does fulfill my vow. I needs must think it honesty. Camillo, not for Bohemia, nor the pomp that may be thereat gleaned, but for all the sun seas, or the close earth wombs, or the profound sea hides in unknown fathoms, will I break my oath to this, my fair beloved. Therefore I pray you, as you have ever been my father's honored friend, when he shall miss me, as I in faith mean not to see him any more, cast your good counsels upon his passion. Let myself and fortune tug for the time to come. This you may know and so deliver. I am put to sea with her, and here I cannot hold on shore. And most opportune to our need, I have a vessel rides fast by, but not prepared for this design. What course I mean to hold shall nothing benefit your knowledge, nor concern me the reporting.
Oh, my lord. I would your spirit were easier for advice or stronger for your need.
Hark, Perdita. Hear you by and by.
He's irremovable. Resolve for flight. Now were I happy if his going I could frame to serve my turn, save him from danger, do him love and honor, purchase the sight again of dear Sicilia, and that unhappy king, my master, whom I so much thirst to see.
Now, good Camillo, I am so fraught with curious business that I leave out ceremony.
Sir, I think you have heard of my poor services and the love that I have borne your father.
Very nobly have you deserved. It is my father's music to speak your deeds, not little of his care to have them recompensed as thought on.
Well, my lord, if you may please to think I love the king, and through him what's nearest to him, which is your gracious self, embrace but my direction. If your more ponderous and settled project may suffer alteration, on mine honor, I'll point you where you shall have such receiving as shall become your highness, where you may enjoy your mistress, from the whom I see there's no disjunction to be made, but by, as heavens forfend, your ruin. Marry her, and with my best endeavors in your absence, your discontenting father strive to qualify and bring him up to liking.
How, Camillo, may this, almost a miracle, be done, that I may call thee something more than man, and after that trust to thee?
Have you thought on a place whereto you'll go?
Not any yet. But as the unthought on accident is guilty to what we wildly do, so we profess ourselves to be the slaves of chance and flies of every wind that blows.
Then list to me. This follows. If you will not change your purpose, but undergo this flight, make for Sicilia, and there present yourself and your fair princess, for so I see she must be for Leontes. She shall be habited as it becomes the partner of your bed. Methinks I see Leontes opening his free arms, and weeping his welcomes forth, asks thee, the son, forgiveness as toward the father's person, kisses the hands of your fresh princess, o'er and o'er divides him twixt his unkindness and his kindness. The one he chides to hell and bids to the other grow faster than thought or time.
Worthy Camillo, what color for my visitation shall I hold up before him?
Sent by the king, your father, to greet him, to give him comforts. Sir, the manner of your bearing towards him, with what you as from your father shall deliver, things known betwixt us three, I'll write you down, the which shall point you forth at every sitting what you must say, that he shall not perceive, but that you have your father's bosom there and speak his very heart.
I am bound to you, Camillo. There is some sap in this.
A course more promising than a wild dedication of yourselves to unpaved waters, undreamed shores, most certain. To miseries enough. No hope to help you. But as you shake off one to take another, nothing is so certain as your anchors, who do their best office if they can, but stay you where you'll loathe to be. Besides, you know prosperity's the very bond of love, whose fresh complexion and whose heart together affection alters.
One of these is true. I think affliction may subdue the cheek, but not take in the mind.
Yea, say you so? There shall not at your father's house these 7 years be born another such.
My good Camillo, she's as forward of her breeding as she is the rear of our birth.
I cannot say 'tis pity she lacks instructions, for she seems a mistress to most that teach.
You pardon, sir. For this I'll blush, you thanks.
My prettiest Perdita, but oh, the thorns we stand upon. Camillo, preserver of my father, now of me, the medicine of our house, how shall we do? We are not furnished like Bohemia's son, nor shall appear in Sicilia.
My lord, fear none of this. I think you know my fortunes do all lie there. It shall be so my care to have you royally appointed, as if the scene you play were mine. For instance, sir, that you may know you shall not want one word. One word.
What a fool honesty is, and trust. His sworn brother, a very simple gentleman. I have sold all my trumpery. Not a counterfeit stone, not a ribbon, glass, pomander, brooch, table book, ballad, knife, tape, glove, shoe tie, bracelet, horn ring, to keep my pack from fasting. They throng who should buy first, as if my trinkets had been hallowed and brought a benediction to the buyer, by which I means I saw whose purse was best in picture, and what I saw, to my good use I remember, my clown, who wants but something to be a reasonable man, grew so in love with the wench's song that he would not stir his pettietoes till he had both tune and words, which so drew the rest of the herd to me that all their other senses stuck in ears. You might have pinched a placket. It was senseless. 'Twas nothing to geld a codpiece of a purse. I could have filed keys off that hung in chains. No hearing, no feeling, but my sir's song and admiring the nothing of it. So that in this time of lethargy, I picked and cut most of their festival purses, and had not the old man come in with a hubbub against his daughter and the king's son, and scared my chuffs from the chaff, I had not left a purse alive in the whole army.
Nay, but my letters, by this means, being there so soon as you arrive shall clear that doubt.
And those that you'll procure from King Leontes?
Shall satisfy your father.
Happy be to you. All that you speak shows fair.
Who have we here? We'll make an instrument of this, omit nothing may give us aid.
If they have overheard me now, why, hanging.
How now, good fellow? Why shakest thou so? Fear not, man. Here's no harm intended to thee.
I am a poor fellow, sir.
Why? Be so still. Here's nobody will steal that from thee. Yet for the outside of thy poverty we must make an exchange. Therefore, discase thee instantly. Thou must think there's a necessity in it. Change garments with this gentleman. That though the pennyworth on his side be the worst, yet hold thee, there's some boot.
I am a poor fellow, sir. I know you well enough.
Nay, prithee, dispatch. The gentleman is half late already.
Are you in earnest, sir? I smell the trick on it.
Dispatch, I prithee.
Indeed, I have had earnest, but I cannot with conscience take it.
Unbuckle, unbuckle. Fortunate mistress, let my prophecy come home to you. You must retire yourself into some covert. Take your sweetheart's hat and pluck it on over your brows, muffle your face, dismantle you, and as you can, disliken the truth of your own seeming, that you may, for I do fear eyes over, to shipboard get undescribed.
See the play so lies that I must bear the part.
No remedy. Have you done there?
Should I now meet my father, he would not call me son.
Nay, you shall have no hat. Come, lady, come. Farewell, my friend.
Adieu, sir.
Oh, Perdita, what have we twain forgot? Pray you a word.
What I do next shall be to tell the king of this escape, whether they are bound, wherein my hope is I shall so prevail to force him after, in whose company I shall review Sicilia, for whose sight I shall have a woman's longing.
Fortune speed us. Thus we set on Camillo to the seaside.
The swifter speed, the better.
I understand the business. I hear it. To have an open ear, a quick eye, and a nimble hand is necessary for a cut purse. A good nose is requisite also to smell out the work for other senses. I see this is the time that the unjust man doth thrive. What an exchange has this been without boot! What a boot is here with this exchange! Sure the gods do this year connive at us, and we may do anything extempore. The prince himself is about a piece of iniquity, stealing away from his father with his clog at his heels. If I thought it were a piece of honesty to acquaint the king withal, I would not do it. I hold it the more knavery to conceal it, and therein am I constant to my profession.
See what a man you are now. There is no other way but to tell the king she's a changeling and none of your flesh and blood.
Nay, but hear me.
Nay, but hear me.
Go to then.
She being none of your flesh and blood, your flesh and blood has not offended the king, and so your flesh and blood is not to be punished by him. Show these things you found about her, those secret things, all but what she has with her. This being done, let the law go whistle, I'll warrant you.
I will tell the king all, every word, yea, and his son's pranks too, which I may say is no honest man, neither to his father nor to me, to go about and make me the king's brother-in-law.
Indeed, brother-in-law was the farthest off you could been to him, and then your blood had been the dearer by I know how much an ounce.
Very wisely, puppies.
Well, let us to the king. There is that in this fardel will make him scratch his beard.
I know not what impediment this complaint may be to the flight of my master.
Pray heartily he be at the palace.
Though I am not naturally honest, I am so sometimes by chance. Let me pocket up my peddler's excrement. How now, rustics? Whither are you bound?
To the palace, and like your worship.
Your affairs there? What, with whom? The condition of the fardel, the place of your dwelling, your names, your ages, of what having, breeding, and anything that is fitting to be known? Discover.
We're but plain fellows, sir.
A lie. You are rough and hairy. Let me have no lying. It becomes none but tradesmen, and they often give us soldiers the lie. But we pay them for it with stamped coin, not stabbing steel. Therefore, they do not give us the lie.
Your worship had like to have given us one if you had not taken yourself with the manner.
Are you a courtier, and like you, sir?
Whether like me or no, I am a courtier. Seest thou not the air of the court in these enfoldings? Hath not my gait in it the measure of the court? Receives not thy nose court odor from me? Reflect I not on thy baseness court contempt? Think'st thou for that I insinuate and tuz from thee thy business, I am therefore no courtier? I am courtier cap a pie, and one that will either push on or pluck back thy business there, whereupon I command thee to open thy affair.
My business, sir, is to the king.
What advocate hast thou to him?
Well, I know not, and like you.
The court word for a pheasant, say you have none.
Oh, none, sir. I have no pheasant, cock nor hen.
How blessed are we that are not simple men, yet nature might have made me as these are. Therefore, I will not disdain.
This cannot be but a great courtier.
His garments are rich, but he wears them not handsomely.
He seems to be the more noble in being fantastical. A great man, I'll warrant you. I know by the picking on his teeth.
The fardel there. What is the fardel? Wherefore that box?
Sir, there lies such secrets in this fardel and box which none must know but the king, and which he shall know within this hour, if I may come to the speech of him.
Age, thou hast lost thy labor.
Why, sir?
The king is not at the palace. He is gone aboard a new ship to purge melancholy and air for himself. For if thou beest capable of things serious, thou must know the king is full of grief.
So 'tis said, sir, about his son, that I should have married a shepherd's daughter.
If that shepherd be not in handfast, let him fly. The curses he shall have, the tortures he shall feel, will break the back of man, the heart of monster.
Think you so, sir?
Not he alone shall suffer what wit can make heavy and vengeance bitter, but those that are germain to him, though removed 50 times, shall all come under the hangman, which Though it be a great pity, yet it is necessary. An old sheep whistling rogue, a ram tender, to offer to have his daughter come into grace. Some say he shall be stoned. But that death is too soft for him, say I. Draw our throne into a sheepcoat? All deaths are too few, the sharpest too easy.
Has the old man e'er a son, sir? Do you hear and like you, sir?
He has a son who shall be flayed alive, then anointed over with honey, set on the head of wasp nest, then stand still he be 3/4 and a dram dead, then recovered again with aqua vitae or some other hot infusion, then raw as he is, and in the hottest day prognostication proclaims, shall he be set against a brick wall, the sun looking with a southward eye upon him, where he is to behold him with flies blown to death. But what talk we of these traitorly rascals, whose miseries are to be smiled at, their offences being so capital? Tell me, for you seem to be a honest plain men, what you have to the king. Be something gently considered. I'll bring you where he is abroad, tender your persons to his presence, whisper him in your behalves, and if it be in man besides the king to effect your suits, here is man shall do it.
He seems to be of great authority. Close with him, give him gold, and though authority be a stubborn bear, yet he is oft led by the nose with gold. Show the inside of your purse to the outside of his hand, and no more ado. Remember, stoned and flayed alive.
And please you, sir, to undertake this business for us. Here is that gold I have. I'll make it as much more and leave this young man in pawn till I bring it to you.
After I have done what I promised?
Aye, sir.
Well, give me the moiety. Are you a party in this business?
In some sort, sir, but though my case be a pitiful one, I hope I shall not be flayed out of it.
Oh, that's the case of a shepherd's son. Hang him. He'll be made an example.
Comfort, good comfort. We must to the king and show our strange sights. He must know 'tis none of your daughters nor my sister. We are gone else. Sir, I will give you as much as this old man does when the business is performed, and remain, as he says, your pawn till it be brought you.
I will trust you. Walk before towards the seaside. Go on the right hand. I will but look upon the hedge and follow you.
We are blessed in this, man, as I may say, even blessed.
Let's before as he bids us. He was provided to do us good.
If I had a mind to be honest, I see fortune would not suffer me. She drops booties in my mouth. I am courted now with a double occasion, gold, and means to do the prince my master good, which who knows how that may turn back to my advancement. I will bring these 2 moles, these blind ones, aboard him. If he think it fit to shore them again, and that the complaint they have to the king concerns him nothing, let him call me rogue for being so far officious, for I am proof against that title, and what shame else belongs to it? To him I will present them. There may be matter in it.
Right, Liz couldn't come or something, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Correct. Sir, you've done enough and have performed the saint-like sorrow. No fault could you make which you have not redeemed. Indeed, paid down more penitence than done trespass at the last. Do as the heavens have done. Forget your evil. With them, forgive yourself.
Whilst I remember her and her virtues, I cannot forget my blemishes in them, and so still think of the wrong I did myself, which was so much that heirless it hath made my kingdom, and destroyed the sweetest companion that e'er man bred his hopes out of.
True, too true, my lord. If one by one you wedded all the world, or from all that are took something good to make a perfect woman, she you killed would be unparalleled.
I think so. Killed? She I killed? I did so, but... Oh, thou strikest me sorely to say that I did. It is as bitter upon thy tongue as in my thought. Now, good, now say so, but seldom.
Not at all, good lady. You might have spoken 1,000 things that would have done the time more benefit and graced your kindness better.
You're one of those would have him wed again.
Pausing.
You're one of those that would have him wed again.
If you would not so, you pity not the state, nor the remembrance of his most sovereign name. Consider little what dangers by his highness fail of issue may drop upon his kingdom and devour uncertain lookers on. What were more holy than to rejoice the former queen as well? What holier than for royalty's repair, for present comfort and for future good, to bless the bed of majesty again with a sweet fellow to it?
There is none worthy, respecting her that's gone. Besides, the gods will have fulfilled their secret purposes. For has not the divine Apollo said, is not the tenor of his oracle, that King Leontes shall not have an heir till his lost child be found? Which that it shall is all as monstrous to our human reason, as my Antigonus to break his grave and come again to me, who on my life did perish with the infant. 'Tis your counsel, my lord, should to the heavens be contrary, oppose against their wills. Care not for issue, the crown will find an heir. Great Alexander left to it the worthiest the successor, was like to be the best.
Good Paulina, who hast the memory of Hermione, I know in honor. Oh, that ever I had squared me to thy counsel, then even now I might have looked upon my queen's full eyes, have taken treasure from her lips.
And left them more rich for what they yielded.
Thou speakest truth. No more such wives, therefore, no wife. One worse and better used would make her sainted spirit again possess her corpse, and on this stage, where we offenders now appear, soul vexed, and begin, why to me?
Had she such power, she had such just cause.
She had, and would incense me to murder her I married.
I should so. Were I the ghost that walked, I'd bid you mark her eye and tell me for that dull part in it you chose her. Then I'd shriek that even your ears should rift to hear me, and the words that follow should be, remember mine.
Stars, stars, and all eyes else dead coals. Fear thou no wife, I'll have no wife, Paulina.
Will you swear never to marry but my free leave?
Never, Paulina, so be blessed my spirit.
Then, good my lords, bear witness to his oath.
You tempt him overmuch.
Unless another as like Hermione is in her picture, a friend his eye.
Good madam.
I have done yet if my lord will marry. If you will, sir, no remedy but you will, give me the office to choose you a queen. She shall not be so young as your former, but she shall be such as walked your first queen's ghost to take joy to see you in her arms.
My true Paulina, we shall not marry till thou bidst us.
That shall be when your first queen's again in breath, never till then.
one that gives him out himself, Prince Florizell, son of Polixenes, with his princess. She, the fairest I have ever yet beheld, desires access to your high presence.
What with him? Oh, he comes not like to his father's greatness. His approach, so out of circumstance and sudden, tells us 'tis not a visitation framed, but forced by need and accident. What train?
But few, and those but mean.
His princess, say you, with him?
Aye, the most peerless piece of earth, I think, that ere the sun shone bright on.
O Hermione, as every present time doth boast itself above a better gone, so must thy grave give way to what's seen now. Sir, you yourself have said and writ so, but your writing now is colder than that theme. She had not been, nor was not to be equaled. Thus your verse flowed with her beauty once, 'tis shrewdly ebbed to say you have seen a better.
Pardon, madam, the one I have almost forgot. Your pardon, the other, when she has obtained your eye, will have your tongue too. This is a creature, would she begin a sect, might quench the zeal of all professors else, make proselytes of who she but bid follow.
How not women?
Women will love her, that she is a woman, more worth than any man. Men, that she is the rarest of all women.
Go, Cleomenes, yourself assisted with your honored friends, bring them to our embracement. Still, 'tis strange he thus should steal upon us.
Had our prince, jewel of children, seen this hour, he had paired well with this lord. There was not full a mouth between their births.
No, prithee, no more cease. That thou knowest he dies to me again when talked of. Sure, when I shall see this gentleman, thy speeches will bring me to consider that which may unfurnish me of reason. They are come. Your mother was most true to wedlock, prince, for she did print your royal father off, conceiving you. Were I but 21, your father's image is so hit in you, his very heir, that I should call you brother, as I did him, and speak of something wildly by us performed before. Oh, most dearly welcome. And you, fair princess, goddess, oh, alas, I lost a couple that twixt heaven and earth might thus have stood, begetting wonder as you, gracious couple, do, and then I lost all mine own folly, the society, amity too, of your brave father, whom, though bearing misery, I desire my life once more to look upon him.
By his command have I here touched Sicilia, and from him give you all greetings that a king, a friend, can send his brother. And but infirmity, which waits upon worn times, hath something seized his wished ability. He had himself the lands and waters twixt your throne and his measured to look upon you, whom he loves. He bade me say so, more than all the scepters and those that bear them living.
Oh, my brother, good gentleman, the wrongs I have done thee stir afresh within me, and these thy offices, so rarely kind, are as interpreters of my behindhand slackness. Oh, welcome hither, as is the spring to the earth. And he hath too exposed this paragon to the fearful usage, at least ungentle, of the dreadful Neptune, to greet a man not worth her pains, much less the adventure of her person.
Good my lord, she came from Libya,
where the warlike Smallus, that noble honored lord, is feared and loved.
Most royal sir, from thence, from him whose daughter his tears proclaimed his parting with her. Thence a prosperous south wind friendly, we have crossed to execute the charge my father gave me for visiting your highness. My best train I have from your Sicilian shores dismissed, who for Bohemia bend to signify not only my success in Libya, sir, but my arrival and my wife's. In safety, here where we are.
The blessed gods purge all infection from our air whilst you do climate here. You have a holy father, a graceful gentleman, against whose person, so sacred as it is, I have done sin, for which the heavens, taking angry note, hath left me issueless. And your father is blessed, as he from heaven merits it with you, worthy his goodness. Oh, what might I have been? Might I, a son and daughter, now have looked on such goodly things as you?
Most noble sir, that which I shall report will bear no credit, were not the proof of so nigh. Please, you great sir, Bohemia greets you from himself by me, desires you to attach his son, who has his dignity and duty both cast off, fled from his father, from his hopes, and with a shepherd's daughter.
Where's Bohemia? Speak.
Here in your city, I now came from him. I speak amazedly, and it becomes my marvel and my message to your court while he was hastening in the chase, it seems, of this fair couple. Meets he on the way the father of the seeming lady and her brother, having both their country quitted, with his young prince.
Camillo has betrayed me, whose honor and whose honesty till now endured all weathers.
Lay it so is charge. He is with the king your father.
Who, Camillo?
Camillo, sir. I spake with him, who now has these poor men in question. Never saw I wretches so quake. They kneel, they kiss the earth, forswear themselves as often as they speak. Bohemia stops his ears and threatens them with divers deaths in death.
Oh, my poor father, the heavens set spies upon us. We'll not have our contract celebrated.
You are married.
We are not, sir, nor are we like to be. The stars I see will kiss the valleys first, the odds for high and lows alike.
My lord, is this the daughter of a king?
She is when once she is my wife.
That once I see by your good father's speed will come on very slowly. I am sorry, most sorry, that you have broken from his liking where you were tied in duty, and as sorry your choice is not so rich in worth as beauty, that you might well enjoy her.
Dear, look up. Though fortune, visible and enemy, should chase us with my father, power no jot hath she to change our loves. Beseech you, sir, remember since you owed no more to time than I do now, with thought of such affection, step forth mine advocate. At your request, my father will grant precious things as trifles.
Would he do so? I beg your precious mistress, which he counts but a trifle.
Sir, my liege, your eye has too much use in it. Not a month before your queen died, she was more worth such gazes than what you look on now.
Oh, I thought of her, even in these looks I made. Oh, but your petition is yet unanswered. I will to your father. Your honor not o'erthrown by your desires, I am friend to them and you, upon which errand I now go toward him. Oh, therefore follow me and mark what way I make. Oh, come, good my lord.
Beseech you, sir, were you present at this relation?
I was by at the opening of the fardel, heard the old shepherd deliver the manner, how he found it, whereupon, after a little amazedness, we were all commanded out of the chamber. Only this, methought, I heard the shepherd say he found the child.
I would most gladly know the issue of it.
I made a broken delivery of the business, but the changes I perceived in the king and Camillo were very notes of admiration. They seemed almost, with staring on one another, to tear the cases of their eyes. There was a speech in their dumbness, language in their very gesture. They looked as they had heard of a world ransomed or one destroyed. A notable passion of wonder appeared in them. But the wisest beholder that knew no more but seeing could not say if the importance were joy or sorrow, but in the extremity of the one it must needs be. Now, here comes a gentleman that happily knows more. The news. Rogero. No.
Nothing but
Here comes a gentleman that happily knows more. The news, Rogero.
nothing but bonfires. The oracle is fulfilled. The king's daughter is found. Such a deal of wonder is broken out within this hour that ballad makers cannot be able to express it. Here comes the Lady Paulina's steward. He can deliver you more. How's it go now, sir? The news which is called true is so like an old tale that the verity of it is in strong suspicion. Has the king found his heir?
Most true, if ever were pregnant by circumstance. That which you hear, you'll swear you see. There is such unity in the proof. The mantle of Queen Hermione, her jewel about the neck of it, the letters of Antigonus found with it, which they know to be his character, the majesty of the creature in resemblance of the mother, the affection of nobleness which nature shows above her breeding, and many other evidences proclaim her with all certainty to be the king's daughter. Did you see the meeting of the two kings?
No.
Then have you lost a sight which is to be seen, cannot be spoken of? There might you have beheld one joy crown another, so and in such a manner that it seemed sorrow wept to take leave of them, for their joy waited in tears. There was casting up of eyes, holding up of hands, with countenance of such distraction that they were to be known by garment, not by favor. Our king, being ready to leap out of himself for joy of his found daughter, as if the joy were now become a loss, cries, "Oh, thy mother, thy mother!" Then asks Bohemia forgiveness, then embraces his son-in-law, then again worries he is his daughter with clipping her. Now he thanks the old shepherd which stands by, like a weather-beaten conduit of many kings' reigns. I never heard of such another encounter, which lames report to follow it and undoes description to do it.
What, pray you, became of Antigonus, that carried hence the child?
Like an old tale still, which will have matter to rehearse, though credit be asleep and not an ear open. He was torn to pieces with a bear. This avouches the shepherd's son, who is not only his innocence, which seems much to justify him, but a handkerchief and rings of his that Paulina knows.
What became of his bark and his followers?
Racked the same instant of their master's death, and in the view of shepherds, so that all the instruments which aided to expose the child were even then lost when it was found. The noble combat that twixt joy and sorrow was fought in Paulina. She had one eye declined for the loss of her husband, another elevated that the oracle was fulfilled. She lifted the princess from the earth and so locks her in embracing as if she would pin her to her heart that she might no more be in danger of losing.
The dignity of this act was worth the audience of kings and princes, for by such was it acted.
One of the prettiest touches of all, and that which angled for mine eyes, caught the water, though not the fish, was when at the relation of the queen's death, with the manner how she came to bravely confess and lamented by the king, how attentiveness wounded his daughter, till from one sign of dolour to another she did, with an alas, I would fain say bleed tears, for I am sure my heart wept blood. Who was most marble their changed color? Some swooned, some sorrowed. If all the world could have seen it, the woe had been universal.
Are they returned to the court?
No, the princess tearing up her mother's statue, which is the keeping of Paulina, a piece many years in doing, and now newly performed by that rare Italian master Julio Romano, who, had he himself of eternity, and could but put breath into his work, would beguile nature of her custom so perfectly. He is her ape. He's so near to Hermione, hath done Hermione that they say one would speak to her and stand in hope of answer. Thither with all greediness of affection are they gone, and they intend to sup.
I thought she had some great matter there in hand, for she has privately twice or thrice a day, ever since the death of Hermione, visited that removed house. Shall we thither and with our company piece the rejoicing?
Who it be then that has the benefit of access? Every wink of an eye, some new grace will be born. Our absence makes us unthrifty. To our knowledge, let's along.
Now, had I not the dash of my former life in me, would preferment drop on my head. I brought the old man and his son aboard, Prince, told him I heard them talk of a fardel, and I know not what, but he at that time overfond of the shepherd's daughter, so he then took her to be, who began to be much seasick, and himself little better, extremity of whether continuing this mystery remained undiscovered, but it's all one to me, for had I been the finder out of this secret, it would not have relished among my other discredits. Here come those I have done good to against my will, and already appearing in the blossom of their fortune.
Come, boy, I am past more children, but thy sons and daughters will be all gentlemen born.
You are well met, sir. You denied to fight with me this other day because I was no gentleman born. See you these clothes? Say you see them not and think me still no gentleman born. You were best say these robes are not gentleman born. Give me the lie, do, and try whether I am not now a gentleman born.
I know you are now, sir, a gentleman born.
Aye, and have been so any time these 4 hours.
And so have I, boy.
So you have. But I was a gentleman born before my father, for the king's son took me by the hand and called me brother, and then the two kings called my father brother, and then the prince my brother, and the princess my sister called my father father, and so we wept, and there was the first gentleman-like tears that ever we shed.
Oh, we may live, son, to shed many more.
Aye, or else 'twere hard luck being in so preposterous a state as we are.
I humbly beseech you, sir, to pardon me all the faults I have committed to your worship, and to give me your good report to the prince, my master.
Oh, prithee, son, do, for we must be gentle now, we are gentlemen.
Thou wilt amend thy life?
Aye, and it like your good worship.
Well, give me thy hand. I will swear to the prince thou art as honest a true fellow as any is in Bohemia.
Oh, you may say it, but not swear it.
Not swear it? Now I am a gentleman? Let Boers and Franklins say it, I'll swear it.
Oh, but how if it be false, son?
If it ne'er be so false, a true gentleman may swear it in the behalf of his friend. And I'll swear it to the prince thou art a tall fellow of thy hands, and that thou wilt not be drunk, but I know thou art no tall fellow of thy hands, and that thou wilt be drunk. But I'll swear it, and I wouldst be a tall fellow of thy hands.
I will prove so, sir, to my power.
Aye, by any means, prove a tall fellow. If I do not wonder how thou darest venture to be drunk, not being a tall fellow, trust me not. Hark, hark, the kings and princes, our kindred, are going to see the queen's picture. Come, follow us. We'll be thy good masters.
Oh, grave and good Paulina, the great comfort that I have had of thee.
What sovereign, sir? I did not well, I meant well. All my services you have paid home, but that you have vouched with your crowned brother and these your contracted heirs of your kingdoms. My poor house to visit, it is the surplus of your grace, which never my last to answer.
Oh, Paulina, we honor you with trouble, but we came to see the statue of our queen. Your gallery have we passed through, not without much content and many singularities, but we saw not that which my daughter came to look upon, the statue of her mother.
As she lived peerless, so her dead likeness, I do well believe, excels whatever yet you looked upon, or hand of man hath done. Therefore I keep it, lonely, apart. But here it is, prepared to see the life as lively mocked as ever still slept mocked death. Behold and say, 'tis well. I like your silence. It more shows off your wonder, but yet speak. First you, my liege, comes it not something near?
Her natural posture. Oh, chide me, dear stone, that I may say indeed that thou art Hermione, or rather, thou art she in thy not chiding, for she was as tender as infancy, and grace. But yet, Paulina, Hermione was not so much wrinkled, not so aged as this seems.
Oh, not by much.
So much the more our carver's excellence, which lets go by some 16 years and makes her as she lives now.
As now she might have done, so much to my good comfort, as it is now piercing to my soul. Oh, thus she stood, even with such life of majesty, warm life, as now it coldly stands, when first I wooed her. Oh, I am ashamed. Oh, does not the stone rebuke me for being more stone than it? Oh, royal peace, there's magic in thy majesty, which has my evils conjured to remembrance, and from thy admiring daughter took the spirits, standing like stone with thee.
Give me leave. I do not say 'tis superstition, yet I kneel and then implore her blessing. Lady, dear queen that ended when I but began, give me that hand of yours to kiss.
Oh, patience! The statue is nearly fixed, the color's not dry.
My lord, your sorrow was too sore laid on, which 16 winters cannot blow away, so many summers dry. Scarce any joy did ever live so long. No sorrow but killed itself so much sooner.
Dear my brother, let him that was the cause of this have power to take off so much grief from you as he will peace up in himself.
Indeed, my lord, if I had thought the sight of my poor image would thus have wrought you, for the stone is mine, I'd have not showed it.
Do not draw the curtain.
No longer shall you gaze upon it, lest your fancy may think anon it moves.
Let be, let be! Would I were dead, but that methinks already, what was he that did make it? What was he that did make it? See, my lord, would you not deem it breathed, and that those veins did verily bear blood?
Masterly done. The very life seems warm upon her lip.
The fixture of her eye has motion in it, and we are mocked with art.
I'll draw the curtain. My lord's almost so far transported that he'll think anon it lives.
Oh, sweet Paulina, make me to think so 20 years together. No settled senses of the world can match the pleasure of that madness. Let it alone.
I am sorry, sir, I have thus far stirred you, but I could not afflict you farther.
Do, Paulina, for this affliction has as taste as sweet as any cordial comfort. Still, methinks there is an air comes from her. Oh, what fine chisel could ever yet cut breath. Let no man mock me, for I will kiss her.
Good my lord, forbear. The rudiness of her lip is wet. You'll mar it if you kiss it. Stain your own with oily painting. Shall I draw the curtain?
No, not these 20 years!
How long could I stand by and look her on?
Either forbear, quit presently the chapel, or resolve you for more amazement. If you can behold it, I'll make the statue move indeed, descend and take you by the hand. But then you'll think, which I protest against, I am assisted by wicked powers.
Oh, what you can make her do, I am content to look on. What to speak, I am content to hear. For 'tis as easy to make her speak as move.
It is required you do awake your faith. Then all stand still, or those that think it is unlawful business I'm about, let them deport.
Proceed, no foot shall stir.
Music, awake her, strike. 'Tis time, descend, by stone no more approach. Strike all that look upon with marvel. Come, I'll fill your grave up. Stir, nay, come away, bequeath to your death your numbness, far from him. Dear life redeems you, you perceive she stirs. Start not, her actions shall be holy as you hear my spell is lawful. Do not shun her until you see her die again, for then you kill her double. Nay, present your hand. When she was young, you wooed her. Now in age, is she become the suitor?
Oh, she's warm. Oh, if this be magic, let it be an art as lawful as eating.
She embraces him.
She hangs about his neck. If she pertain to life, let her speak too.
Aye, and make it manifest where she has lived, or how stolen from the dead.
That she is living, were it but told you, should be hooted at like an old tale. But it appears she lives, though yet she speak not. Mark a little while. Please you, interpose for a minute, madam. Kneel, and pray your mother's blessing. Turn, good lady. Our Perdita is found.
You gods look down, and from your sacred vials pour your graces upon my daughter's head. Tell me, mine own, where hast thou been preserved? Where lived? How found? Thy father's court? For thou shalt hear that I, knowing by Paulina that the oracle gave hope thou wast in being, have preserved myself to see the issue.
There's time enough for that, lest they desire upon this push to trouble your joys with like relation. Go together, you precious winners all. Your exaltation partake to everyone. I, an old turtle, will wing me into some withered bough, and there my mate, that's never to be found again. Lament till I am lost.
Peace, Paulina. Thou shalt a husband take by my consent, as I by thine a wife. Oh, this is a match, and made betweens by vows. Thou hast found mine, but how is to be questioned? For I saw her, as I thought, dead, and have in vain said so many a prayer upon her grave. I'll not seek far. Oh, for him, I partly know his mind, to find thee an honorable husband. Come, Camillo, and take her by the hand. No, whose worth and honesty is richly noted, and here justified by us, a pair of kings. Let's from this place. What? Look upon my brother. Both your pardons. Oh, both your pardons, and ere I put between your holy looks my ill suspicion.
Oh.
This your son-in-law, and son unto the king, whom heaven's directing is troth plight to your daughter. Good Paulina, lead us from hence, and where we may leisurely each one demand and answer to his part, performed in this wide gap of time since first we were dissevered. Hastily lead away.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Dunk.